Jonestown Massacre is one of the most chilling and tragic examples of manipulation, blind faith, and despair in modern history. What began as a movement of hope and equality spiraled into a nightmare that claimed over 900 lives, including hundreds of children. The rise of Jim Jones. Jim Jones was a charismatic preacher who founded the People's Temple in the 1950s. He built a reputation as a man of compassion, championing racial equality and social justice during a time when segregation was still rampant in America. But Jones wasn't just a preacher. He claimed to have divine powers, including the ability to heal. His sermons often featured theatrical healings, where he miraculously removed tumors, later revealed to be chicken parts, or cured chronic illnesses. These acts, though staged, attracted thousands of vulnerable people seeking hope and salvation. Jones preached about creating a utopia, a place where race, class, and inequality didn't matter. To many, he seemed like the answer to their prayers. However, behind his compassionate facade, Jones was becoming increasingly paranoid and power-hungry. He controlled his congregation's lives, demanding loyalty and financial support, while isolating them from anyone who questioned his authority. The move to Jonestown. Fearing scrutiny from the media and government investigations into his practices, Jones relocated over 1,000 of his followers to a remote settlement in the jungles of Guyana in 1977. He named it Jonestown, describing it as a socialist paradise where everyone could live in harmony. The reality was far from idyllic. Jonestown was overcrowded and poorly equipped to sustain so many people. Food was scarce, medical supplies were limited, and the oppressive heat made life unbearable. Followers worked grueling hours in the fields and attended Jones's nightly sermons, which were broadcast over loudspeakers throughout the camp. He instilled fear of the outside world, claiming that enemies were coming to destroy their sanctuary. Some defectors later revealed that Jones regularly staged white night drills, where he forced followers to rehearse mass suicide by drinking what they were told was poison, only for him to reveal it was harmless after they complied. Control and paranoia. Jones ruled Jonestown with an iron grip, monitoring communication with the outside world and punishing anyone who questioned his authority. Letters were censored, and defectors were threatened or shamed publicly. Followers were often sleep-deprived, kept in line through physical punishment, and subjected to relentless propaganda. Jones himself became increasingly unstable, reportedly abusing drugs and issuing threats against anyone who tried to leave. A lesser-known detail is how Jones manipulated children to control their parents. He encouraged parents to hand over their children to communal care, ensuring that families would think twice before attempting to leave. He even used the children as leverage, claiming that defectors were abandoning their own offspring to a fate of persecution or death. Congressman Leo Ryan's visit. By 1978, concerned relatives of People's Temple members pressured U.S. officials to investigate Jonestown. Congressman Leo Ryan visited the settlement in November 1978, accompanied by journalists and concerned family members. At first, the visit seemed peaceful. Jones staged a welcoming atmosphere with music, dancing, and smiling followers. But cracks quickly appeared. Several followers passed notes to Ryan's delegation begging for help to escape. As Ryan prepared to leave with the defectors, Jones's paranoia boiled over. His armed guards ambushed Ryan and his group at a nearby airstrip, killing Ryan, 3 journalists, and 1 defector. It was the first assassination of a U.S. congressman in history and marked the point of no return for Jonestown. The massacre. Back in Jonestown, Jones gathered his followers for one final white night. This time, the poison was real. He told them that the airstrip attack would bring swift retribution from the U.S. government, and that death was their only escape from persecution. Using a deadly cyanide-laced drink, Jones convinced many to take their own lives. Parents were forced to administer the poison to their children first, a detail often omitted due to its horrifying nature. Some resisted, but armed guards ensured compliance. In the end, over 900 people died, including 304 children. Jones himself did not drink the poison. He died from a gunshot wound, likely self-inflicted. The aftermath. The massacre shocked the world. Photos of the scene, with hundreds of bodies lying face down in the jungle, became iconic images of tragedy. Investigations revealed how Jones's manipulation, psychological control, and fear tactics led to one of the largest mass murder-suicides in history. Survivors recounted harrowing stories of life in Jonestown, shedding light on the depths of his control. Details no one talks about. 1. Jones's decline. Many don't realize how heavily Jones relied on drugs during Jonestown's final days. His paranoia and erratic behavior were exacerbated by his reported abuse of amphetamines and barbiturates. 2. Communal punishments. Followers who disobeyed were subjected to public humiliation or isolation, including being placed in a punishment pit, a small, dark hole in the ground. 3. The children's role. Jones used children not only as leverage but as symbols of the future. He often spoke of protecting them from a corrupt world, making parents feel that sacrificing their own lives was noble. 4. Defectors' pleas. Before the massacre, several defectors tried to warn the authorities, but their concerns were dismissed as exaggerations or personal vendettas. Legacy. The Jonestown Massacre is more than just a historical event. It's a sobering reminder of how hope and devotion can be weaponized by a charismatic leader. It highlights the vulnerability of people seeking meaning and belonging and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. Today, Jonestown remains a chilling example of the dangers of blind faith and manipulation, a cautionary tale that echoes through history. Follow for more.